We're talking Eufaula education. Our guest today is Deltanya Warren. She has a job with the central office, and everybody's heard about it, I think, over a period of time. Tell us what your title is and what you do.
I'm Deltanya Warren, and I am the Director of Curriculum and Assessment for the Eufaula City School System. And under that big heading, I'm responsible for a number of things, including our testing program, our pre-K program, our HIPPY program. I'm responsible for our counselors. I have two reading coaches that work with me. I have an instructional technologist that works with me. And we try to ensure that student learning is the focus of everything we do. And we support our teachers through professional development that I am also responsible for.
In all of these responsibilities, and I know that it's not as simple as you make it sound, let's look at an area that people have a lot of questions about right now. Benchmark testing.
The entire assessment system for the state of Alabama has truly undergone a facelift. Last year, we began implementing end-of-course tests at our high school. We implemented end-of-course tests for Algebra 1 and for English 9. This year, we will be doing end-of-course tests in English 9, English 10, Algebra 1, and Geometry. In an effort to make sure that our students are best prepared for those end-of-course tests, we as a district have also implemented benchmark testing. So what is benchmark testing, and why on earth are we doing it in the Eufaula City School System? And is it something that is required by the State Department of Education? First of all, benchmark testing is a very simple way that we have to test students each 9 weeks on the standards that the teachers have taught them for the 9 weeks. So how do I know what standards the teachers taught for the 9 weeks? Well, teachers came to our office in the summer. They put together a pacing guide last year for math and this year for English language arts. In that pacing guide, they took the standards that they are responsible for the year, and they divided it over 4 9 weeks. So each 9 weeks, they have a set number of standards that they have agreed to teach. Not agreed to teach, that they are supposed to teach. At the end of that 9 weeks, we pull the pacing guide. We look at the standards that the teachers planned to teach. We talk to the teachers to see which standards they actually had an opportunity to teach. And we create a benchmark assessment using a global scholar testing program that was provided to all school systems in the state of Alabama by the State Department of Education. We do this because it's so important that at each grade we have a way to know that all of the standards were taught and tested. We'd like to know that all of the students mastered those standards. And mastery for us, we like to say, is 80%. That 80% of our students were able to successfully answer questions and show that they understood that standard. Last year we started that in math, so this year what you are seeing is that the math grade counts from kindergarten to 12th grade. We're beginning ELA this year, and what we are seeing, or what you should be seeing, is at the primary school and the elementary school, the benchmark test grade each 9 weeks will be written on the report card. It is not averaged in any way in the reading grade. However, when you get to the middle school and the high school, it is a part of the grade. At the middle school, at the 6th grade level, they get a grade for benchmark testing in reading and in English, and they also get a grade for benchmark testing in math. How does this grade count? At the elementary school, it is in the 60% test category for math. At the primary school, you see it written on the report card again because their report card is a standards-based report card and there are no averages per se on it. At the middle school, the first 9 weeks, because we were really getting our feet wet with ELA. We didn't want to punish any children, and we certainly had not perfected the system at that time. So what you should have seen on your child's report card is that the ELA grade was a part of the 30% quiz category, and that was also true for the high school. It was averaged in the 30% quiz category. You will see something different at the end of the second 9 weeks. It will remain the same at the primary school and the elementary school. It will be written on your child's report card. The math grade will be averaged into their math grade. However, at the middle school, because now the benchmark test has taken the place of their normal 9 weeks test, you will see that the benchmark test is 20% of the student's average for the 9 weeks. I don't want parents or teachers to be alarmed by that, because we have taken every measure to make sure that teachers are comfortable with the test and that the test does not contain anything that the teachers have not taught to fidelity and to mastery. We spend lots of time going back and forth to the school, sharing test items with teachers, asking questions. Have you taught? Are you comfortable testing? Are you not comfortable testing? So those tests are rewritten a couple of times before we get to the final document. At the high school, you're going to find that the semester exam for English Language Arts and for math is going to be the district benchmark test. But there again, we have made every effort to make sure that the teacher is very comfortable with the test that they will be putting before their students to give them a semester grade for their exam on.
All right. Let's look at education in general in Eufaula. Let's look at the path of going to the workforce or going to a university. How do we prepare our students for that?
Common Core standards have really changed the way that we are teaching. It has changed the way that we are teaching because it really requires the students to be able to apply the knowledge that we have given them to real-world situations. A part of the Common Core standards is a list of standards called the anchor standards. The anchor standards are in every content area, no matter what it is we're teaching. Our teachers are very familiar with the anchor standards. They include speaking and listening and writing. So no matter what classroom you go in, whether it's a music class or an art class or a career tech class, you're going to see lots of activities that revolve around those anchor standards. We know that not all students will have a desire to go to college. We realize that there are students who will choose the armed forces, the military. They may choose a 2-year college. We are strengthening our career tech college so that our career tech program so that when our students graduate, those who choose to go that path, some of them will truly be ready to enter the world of work. And we are very confident that we will be sending students who are very well prepared for the obstacles and the challenges that they may meet in the workforce. We also, through the new testing system that the state of Alabama is putting in place, 8th graders and 10th graders take the ACT Explorer or the ACT Plan. There's a self-assessment in there to kind of help kids gauge, beginning in 8th grade, what their strengths are and what their career interests may be or what their college interests may be, so that when they get to the high school, our counselors can start to try and counsel with those students and direct them in those paths, and that is what they are interested in. So there are a lot of things in place right now to help us make sure that we are sending students away from Eufaula High School ready for college or ready for a career. The Common Core standards certainly are equipping us with the kinds of teaching strategies that we need to implement to make sure that our students are ready.
Let's look at parents that have questions. Where do they start at? What's the first step they should take if they've got a question about what's involved with curriculum?
Well, you know, I'm a teacher at heart. That's where I started. That's what I'll always be. So the very first question, the very first point of contact would certainly be with your child's teacher. They are best able to explain because they deliver the instruction. They are able to answer the questions if there are points of confusion, if there are questions about the why. The child's teacher ought to be able to answer those questions. If that is not satisfactory, if there are still more pertinent questions, I would involve our administrative team at each school. All of them are very well equipped and quite knowledgeable about the whole process of benchmark testing. So I would start with the teacher and then the principal. If we are still having questions, I am always available. My number's on the website. Just call the office. Dr. Hanchy and myself handle curriculum and instruction. Our instructional coaches are there to assist us, so it is no problem if they want to call our office.
Well, thank you very much. We've been talking Eufaula education. Always a pleasure. We would like to come back.
Please do.